is Ji-yoon, and a tour guide for the Korean Historical Exploration Promotion Agency. There are 5 palaces in Seoul, which are Gyeongbokgung, Changdeokgung, Changgyeonggung, Deoksugung, and Gyeonggi-gung. Among them, this time, I'd like to introduce Gyeongbokgung Palace. Gyeongbokgung Palace is the main palace among the 5 palaces. It was newly built in 1395 and damaged by war in 1392. 275 years later, it was restored by King Seondeung-gun in 1867. Sadly, it was almost destroyed during the Japanese colonial era. But the restoration of the Gyeongbokgung Palace began in 1995 and is planned to continue to 2045. Gyeongbokgung Palace was built in the harmony with the courage, righteousness, and virtue. King Taejeon, the first king of Joseon, ordered the founding country by the Cheongdojeon to name the palace. Cheongdojeon named the palace name influenced by a poem which means being great blessings for 10,000 years. As such, the name of the Gyeongbokgung Palace means the new dynasty being blessed with great wealth and prosperity. Contrary to its good meaning, Gyeongbokgung Palace had to go through the Japanese invasion, which was a great hardship. The Japanese invasion occurred during the King Seonjo. It was a battle between Japan that invaded Korea twice over the course of 7 years. Because of the war, Gyeongbokgung Palace and all other palaces were burned down, and Gyeongbokgung Palace remained as a vacant ground for more than 270 years. Gyeongbokgung Palace was rebuilt under the leadership of King Seondeung-gun during the King Gojong in 1867. After the reconstruction, Gyeongbokgung Palace had numerous buildings, but more than 90% of the buildings were damaged and demolished during the Japanese colonial era. Fortunately, the restoration of the Gyeongbokgung Palace began in 1995 and is planned to continue in 2045. The floor plan of Gyeongbokgung Palace shows the appearance of Gyeongbokgung Palace in 1867. You can see many buildings built inside the palace. According to the records, the total scale of the buildings were 38,000 square meters. Let's move to the next area. You can see the sculptures of Chandeokmupsa, Sonokgung, Jeopal, and Seojong on the east of the east and west. These are the characters of the noble journey to the west. The group led by Chandeokmupsa are the main characters of the noble journey to the west, and they defeat all kinds of evil spirits on their way to save the Buddhist code. It is assumed that our ancestors are the characters of the noble journey to the west and the hope of repelling evil spirits. There is sloping road at the center of the stairs. This road is called Tapdo. Tapdo is a road where the palanquin of the king passed through on the shoulder of the palanquin bearers. A pair of Pohang is carved on Tapdo. Pohang is the male phoenix and Hwang is the female. It is known that these phoenixes live for more than 500 years and they only appear under the benevolent king in a reign of peace. The Pohang represent the authority of the royal family. But if you go to Deoksugung Palace, you could see a dragon carved on Tapdo. On either side of Tapdo, there are 2 imaginary animal sculptures. The name of the stone statue is Haechi or Hete. The reason that there are 2 names because if you're Haechi in Chinese character, it is Hete. Haechi was constructed at the entrance of the palace as the villains with its swords and therefore regarded as a specious animal that symbolizes justice and preventing fire and disaster. Let's move to Sajangjeon area. 3 buildings here. If you look at the plan of the middle buildings, this is Sajangjeon. This Chinese letter means to think. This letter was used for the sentence before the king made decision in politics, think deeply and judge what is right or wrong. The colors of the pillar are peeled off a lot. It is said the Dancheong inside Sajangjeon Hall was never repainted since 1867. Sajangjeon was a place where the king handled state affairs, held Gyeongyas, and met envoys from various countries. And now let's see the right side and the left right. Changjin Hall means the king's auxiliary buildings and is in the west and the ink symbolizing woman and autumn. Changjin means an autumn of 1,000 years. Like Changjin Hall, Banjin Hall is also one of the king's auxiliary building and is in the east and the yang, symbolizing man and spring. Banjin means a spring of 10,000 years. The king's private properties, such as various books, metal types, and the gift for the king, are kept inside here. This street was called the Tango. The last letter code is the Chinese letter for the street. From the right is in Chanjihenyan. The last letter Ko is the Chinese letter for the storage. The Tango is written in the order of the 1,000-character text, such as the order of the Chan, Ji, and Hyun. These are 1,000-character texts to arrange order storage, just like naming the straight 1, straight 2, straight 3. And now let's move to Taegyeongjeon area. And you can see a flower wall. This flower wall is called Taegyeongjeon flower wall, and it's the flower wall which is famous for its beauty among the palace flower wall. The flower wall is covered with plant flowers, chando, peony pomegranate, flowers and butterflies, chrysanthemum, azalea, and bamboo. Plant flowers and chando represent spring. Peony and pomegranate represent summer. Flowers, butterflies, and chrysanthemum represent fall, and azalea and bamboo represent winter. And now let's move to Changgyeonjeon chimney. The Changgyeonjeon chimney is designated as a national treasure number 810. If you look at the Changgyeonjeon chimney, there are 10 treasure symbols along the body. There's a moon, bamboo, and peach. There are cameras on top of the chimney. The smoke is emitted through the roofs. The chimney of 10 treasure symbols along the body is an eternal natural object that expresses the desire of the eternal life. In addition to the 10 treasure symbols along the body, the chimney is also engraved great patterns wishing for one's fertility. And let's move to Chaganyeol Hall. Chaganyeol Hall was first built in 1888. Chaganyeol Hall was built by King Sundaeun for Queen Shinjeong. King Sundaeun built the most elegant and beautiful place in Gyeongbokgung Palace and return for his gratitude for crowning his son. What's my explanation helpful for you today about a great time in Gyeongbokgung Palace? So far, I'm a tour guide Jin for the Korean Historical Explanation Promotion Agency. Thank you for listening. Bye.